Hey everybody, I'm out here in my parents' yard setting up a tarp shelter, trying to see if my 9x12 tarp can make a tent as shown on Lonnie's Far North Bushcraft channel. Let me show you that real quick. Lonnie in his video used a 12x12 tarp. Mine is 9x12, so not quite a square. So it worked pretty good. I could improvise. You can see I have a little tie out that's in the center of mine, so I've just kind of co-opted that to pull the side out so you can see inside here. It's got a floor, so that's nice. Just quickly, I wanted to see if I could do that. But while I was out here, I was using my Schrade SCAXE2L to make the pegs for the tent. And I've used this thing for, going on a year now. So I thought I'd give you my review, show you some modifications I've made to it, and kind of just give you my impressions. All the specs and stuff, you know, you can read a bunch of other reviewers. But I'll show you how this thing has worked for me. Overall, I'm very, very happy with the axe. You know, I won't even call it that. I'll call it a hatchet. I think that's more accurate. However, there are a few things that are just pretty bogus when you get it. One is, you can see this sheath. It comes with a belt loop, which, let me go get the belt loop here. It comes with the Velcro belt loop. That's pretty worthless. As many other reviewers will note, the edge of the blade will come up through the sheath and pretty much cut anything. So I've modified this. You can see this pretty much rides around in my pack or lashed to it. I think it's kind of silly to carry around a hatchet like this on your belt. However, I do have this, which I use. It's just some Ranger bands and some Kydex belt loop, and I just stick the handle through there and it rides up and on my belt if I'm out really trekking out tall backwood. Anyway, what I've done to actually secure this legitimately inside the sheath is I've added this wrap webbing, and I'm trying to do this one-handed. But what that does is it actually is captive on the top where the sheath is sewn together, and so once this thing is strapped in, these points do not stick out and cut anything. It's, let's see, 3 CR 13 MOV or something like that. I would call this pretty mild as far as the steel goes. I do keep the sharpening stone with me. I have found that I chip and roll the edges under what I would consider moderate use. However, it touches up very quickly, very nicely, becomes right back to sharp. I can even make feather sticks and stuff like that with this. The other thing that's pretty bogus is the ferro rod that comes with it. Now the ferro rod itself is nice. The ferrocerium material is good. This little deal that it used to poke into is not good. You hold on to this, you strike it a few 100 times, and that will just separate and break out. So really all I do now is I just use this little thing to plug the hole, and it's a day glow, so when I am absent-mindedly setting this down in the woods, I can find it more easily. Does nothing more than that. Gimmick gone. But I don't even know the weight. However, I do have a Tops tracker, Tom Brown tracker, and this whole hatchet weighs as much as that knife. this is a very doable and capable hatchet, in my opinion, as far as a good candidate to ride around in your pack to take with you. My last, I guess, complaint, it might seem like I'm unhappy with the thing, but I'm actually very, very happy with it. But my one last complaint is the rectangular profile of the shaft here below the handle does not take favorably to being struck against wood. So as oftentimes will happen is the wood will come back in here when I'm splitting and strike against the shaft of the handle. If this were oval, I think it would perform much, much better. And let me tell you, I have smacked this thing heavy on some very hard wood, but the axe head is still as solid as can be in there. I think it's fiber reinforced glass, plastic, I don't even know. Rubber handle is extremely comfortable. Whether you're chopping with it with this foregrip, or whether you turn it around and use the back end to hammer tent pegs in, or pommel some brush into finer tinder, anything like that, it does good. Minor gripes, this stuff always gets hung up in this gap. But anyway, those are my impressions after living with this thing for nearly a year. I like it. I think it's held up great as far as just a solitary function of a hatchet. It does good. Bonus is the pommel. Weight's good. Shock absorption's good. The handle is not peeling away. After very heavy use, it's still solid on there. I was a little bit leery of the rubberized grip coming away from the handle substrate. Forgive the gimmick on the ferro rod. Nice in idea, not extremely durably executed. And I think you'll be much happier with it if you do something like this, where you just repurpose the sheath, wrap something, even if it's nothing more than paracord, just to keep that blade captive and sheltered, and you'll be good to go. Hope you like this review.